Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
Man, last night we put on an epic light show.
So epic.
The crowd loved us.
Wait, there were only 4 people out there.
Yeah, but did you see their 4 faces? Their eyes lit up brighter than ours, and we're fireflies.
Yeah, we are.
And we're gonna be out here rocking out our light show at a forest near you, so come check us out.
Check us out.
Whether you're rocking their world or they're rocking yours, some memories never fade. Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
It's not your grandmother's talk radio, but she is welcome to listen. ThePowerOfVoices.com.
Live from Los Angeles, it's the Lee Michaels Show on The Power of Voices. Lee and Carol's here on duty, and we are ready to communicate with you this morning, have a little fun on the radio. 424-227-9461 is our number to call to be a part of the show. We're going to talk about a lot of interesting things this morning.
No, you can.
You okay? In terms of pop culture stuff, got a couple of interesting stories to talk about. I posted last night that we were going to talk about, which I think is pretty orchestrated and interesting at the same time. But Rob Kardashian, you probably know, is engaged to Blac Chyna. And I don't know what, is she a model or stripper? Or I mean, what does she do professionally? Do you know, Carol?
I know she gets a lot of plastic surgery. I can't look at her.
Yeah,
I think
she's
she
hard
was
to look
Kim's best friend.
Mm.
And then
Wow.
Kim's little sister started messing with, what's his name, Tyga?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
she had a baby by him.
Yeah, but I'd hate to see if he had one with Kylie because both of them have done so much surgery.
Yeah, really. The baby won't look like
And that,
the mom at all.
And he's kind of homely. I don't know where he gets all these girls. He must got something going on.
I guess. I have no idea. I don't know. But I found it interesting that first they get engaged, and obviously because she's pregnant. Then it was announced that she's pregnant. Now they have a reality show.
Well, she's smart.
I don't think she's got anything to do with it.
No,
I think Mama Kardashian is.
Yeah, but I
she's
think
pulling
that
the
girl
strings.
was smart too because when
Oh.
that happened to her, she was angry.
Yeah,
I don't believe she really likes that Rob guy because he's a little weird.
yeah, he's.
So she kind
got
of
some
got
issues.
back at him. So I don't know of anybody that's going to watch it. I don't watch their show myself.
It's a pilot kind of thing. They're going to do six episodes, and then if it goes well, then they'll extend it. But I just don't understand why anyone would watch something like that. Because, I mean, there's no talent there. But I guess you can say that, yeah, that's what people want nowadays, I guess. I don't know. It's just blows my mind. I just don't get it. You know? Not yet. I'm doing it now. So
I was trying to get him to read my lips.
Oh, read your lips. Oh, I was.
So you didn't have to say it on the radio.
Okay. No, yeah, I'm posting it now.
It's a joke, but
yeah, it is.
You got to be, when you think about it, people like to be brainwashed.
Yeah.
They like watching this people's life. I don't know why.
I don't find it that interesting.
I don't watch it, but it's funny because there's another show, is it Bad Girls?
Mm-hmm.
I had it all over Facebook yesterday, how the other one jumped on, the woman of color jumped on the Caucasian girl.
Yeah, I saw that.
But
I
people
didn't
said
understand
she
what was going on.
deserved it because the whole time on the show she kept making remarks like, go pick my cotton. So
Oh, racist remarks.
So
yeah.
I guess she finally
had enough. Well,
Yeah.
that's what happens, you
Did
know.
you
when
see how hard she punched her?
she was wailing on her.
Now, see, I don't watch that show. I watch
Yeah.
Dancing with the Stars. And you know, it's funny, I watched America's Got Talent. I usually don't watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I was blown away with this 11-year-old girl
Really?
singing opera.
It's good, huh?
She opened her mouth, and you're like, you had to step back. You couldn't believe the voice that came out of her.
Wow.
I mean, it's not a pop, it's an opera voice. She could reach those notes.
Mm.
It just blew you away.
Take it to the sky on it, huh?
Yeah, I don't know how she. It was something.
Yeah, I have not watched any of those contest shows in years.
Yeah, I don't usually watch them.
Yeah, I'm not that I don't like it, but maybe it's just I just don't. It's not drawing me in.
I think a
You know?
lot of reasons why maybe someone like you or me, because we know it's all a setup. That they already
Yeah.
know who's going to win.
Yeah,
They people sign a contract that they can't discuss it,
yeah,
and they rehearse. I know on The Voice and the other one they rehearse. They know way ahead of time. The show wasn't just filmed,
right.
and then they look for people that have a sob story. So you got to come in with a great story.
Yeah, it's highly produced. You know, every aspect of it is well thought out, planned. And these reality shows, they lead people. Well, some people believe that it's unscripted, but that's not true. It's not true. Many of them, most of them, are scripted to a certain degree. I mean, you can tell that it's not great acting involved because they're just not professional actors. But there is a plan. They'll discuss what they're going to try to achieve, and there's a script that they have to follow to a certain degree. And
Yeah,
then
I think
ad-lib around
it's
it.
called they ad lib it.
Yeah, but you know, they have a purpose. It's not they just turn on the cameras and start shooting.
I mean, because if you watch how they set up the Chloe thing, they had her go in and feeling bad for him, and she's saving her husband. But from what I hear, that was shown on the show part of that. Now she's divorcing him, and she's dating another athlete.
Oh, really? Who's she
Because they
dating?
showed him with her fake butt up on him, I guess grinding him or whatever.
Her butt is
lap
fake?
dance. Yeah, it's fake. She don't have that
Chloe?
butt. Yeah, go back on her.
No.
Yes, it is.
No, you
Did
just
you-
broke my heart. 'cause
You
I'm-
don't get that kind of butt doing squats and that. Come on.
Come on, not Chloe.
Yes, Chloe. She don't
No.
even look the same. She was actually, to me,
I'm heartbroken.
the home. Well, don't be. Everything's fake nowadays. So
See, that's just so.
doesn't
Not
matter
cool.
if you like somebody.
Yeah,
just-
but what's with the fake stuff? Either you have it or you don't.
Well, nowadays you walk around if you don't have a 50-inch butt sticking out,
That's too much ass.
people act like,
Yeah, that's too
"Oh,
much.
you're too skinny." I go, "I am not skinny.
No,
I don't want that. I have no desire."
you don't need all that.
No, because normally if you look at it good, there's cellulite sitting in it.
Exactly.
Because-
It's like cottage cheese.
Yeah, and they put fat in fat. I mean, not all of them look bad, but it's
Yeah,
become a
most of them
thing
do.
now where everybody thinks, everywhere I go now, I walk, I see these big butts on women that normally wouldn't have a butt like that.
Yeah, you can see it's just not natural. Yeah, and that Black China girl, I've seen some butt shots of hers, and it looks like a 50, 60-year-old butt. You know, because it's just like
is she though? Is she black?
yeah.
I couldn't figure it out because of the surgery.
Yeah,
She's like
well.
little Kim. You can't even recognize her.
I know. That's a shame. Because she wasn't a bad-looking girl from jump. You know?
I wonder if it
She's
makes
been-
somebody so unhappy with.
I don't know if it's so much that they're unhappy. Maybe some of them. But I think it's more that because everybody else is doing it and they're trying to compete and, what is perceived as being good-looking, hot, or whatever. And they're just monkey see, monkey do, as I see it. That's what my mom used to say. Boy, don't be a part of that monkey see, monkey do group. Be your own self.
Well, basically, they're all going to be clones soon because they all looking the same. I mean, look at them all. Kesha,
Yeah.
Ellie Goulding.
Yeah, she's changed a lot too, hasn't she?
She changed. So did Kesha.
Yeah.
But the thing is why do y'all want to look the same?
Yeah, I like that Ellie Goulding girl. The first song that I got hooked on was
She's
Lights.
very nice.
Is she?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the song Lights that she had.
Well, she has a different type voice.
Yeah. It's kind of
more-
weird.
Yeah, kind of like Tiny Tim type.
It is kind of
No, it is. I
different.
met her in London because she did a song that somebody I know
Mm-hmm.
sang it. She wrote it with another person. She's a killer writer.
Isn't she? I know
Very athletic.
Calvin Harris did some songs with her as well. And he's breaking up or has split with Taylor.
Well, probably
Taylor
because she
Swift.
needs a new song.
Well, he's been one of the hottest producers in the last
I'm
few
not.
years.
I don't mean it like that. It's a
Oh,
joke about
new
her.
songs.
She
Oh.
writes songs about her breakup.
Ah, it could be. But didn't he make the breakup? He said things are just not working out, so I'm out.
I don't know. I just know he got in an accident
Yeah,
because they seemed to be really happy. She seemed happy, and
yeah.
she was changing her look. She started looking actually really, really sexy in that. Now, my son shot her, and he said she was one of the nicest people.
Really?
Said she was very nice and very pretty.
Yeah, she's not bad looking. Yeah, she looks nice. I like that. Yeah, I don't mind her look. And she's, I don't know. But this guy, Calvin Harris, back in 2014, he made $60 million producing, and he's a DJ. And what's phenomenal about this whole DJ thing, it's amazing, the money that these guys are making. And there's hundreds of them worldwide. In fact, tomorrow he starts his world tour, and it launches in Vegas. But this guy makes hundreds of thousands of dollars a night. You know, and it's what's funny is back in my day when I was a DJ, we took records, crates of records and stuff out. It was work. And you had to set up your lights and your sound equipment, your turntables and all that stuff. And you might have made $50, $100, $200, $300. If you made $500, you were rocking it, right? You were the man. But nowadays, these guys don't carry any equipment out. Many of these clubs have all of the equipment. They come in with one of these, a thumb drive with their set on it. They plug it into a computer, and it synchronizes with the lights and the smoke and the dancers and the video and all that kind of stuff. And they
do
walk out
great
with big
shows.
Oh, it is. It's phenomenal. So they took it to a whole new level. It is a production now. But they're not actually up there spinning. That's the only thing I don't like about it. Because see, I get down to the artistry, you know, the art of doing it, creating it live. That's why I'm not a big advocate or supporter of lip syncing on TV. I want to hear you
It isn't
make a
just
mistake.
TV. They lip sync their concerts.
Well, that too. But I want to hear if you make a mistake. That's part of the boom. You know, it's okay. Be real. Go out there and sing your heart out. You're a singer. I don't like the
No,
fact that they're just studio producers.
I'd say
now.
the last 8 years, they're not singers. They were manufactured artists.
Yeah, and I don't like that. I don't like that.
I mean,
because-
I've told you stories where one person, they never asked her to sing. They took her by her look.
yeah,
But then when she wouldn't do that type of stuff, they shelved her for a minute.
right.
Because she
Yeah, they'll do
refused
that
it.
to
She
you.
could sing. But how do you get a record deal and nobody asked you to sing?
Because they got something else in mind. It's all about marketing and gimmicks and
I mean, look
bullshit.
at
I don't like that either.
I like Katy Perry, even though she don't sing live. She draws kids because her show is very entertaining for kids.
Yeah. I mean, it's a market for everything. But I still like the hardcore, talented people that can go out there and perform and do it live. And you can tell when they're doing it live because if there's no audience interaction or, you know, if they're strictly singing it the way it was recorded, I'm not down with that. Don't play me cheap like that. That's I don't want to pay $50, $75, $100, $250 to see somebody lip sync to a track. I'm
Well,
even
that's what you're going to
I'm
pay
not
for
feeling
now.
it. That's why I don't go.
Because if you
I
notice,
wouldn't go if you gave me a ticket for free.
you won't even see bands.
No,
Usually there's a DJ up there with them
right.
because he's
That's
putting-
cheap.
You know, because most of them you don't have background singers.
I can watch
and even
that
the
on
background
TV.
singers are lip singing. Because
Yeah, it's all.
I seen that on the Billboard Awards. I looked over at the background one and I'm like, she's not even in the microphone.
Yeah. I have a vivid memory of Toni Braxton singing Unbreak My Heart on TV live, and she was singing it. And they changed it and went into like a Latino thing there towards the end. It was awesome. It was awesome. And not much since then. And that was, what, 90-something, 96, 97 maybe? No, what? It was in the 90s. Unbreak My Heart. And I got to tell you, I still remember that live performance like it was yesterday. And it's on YouTube. You can see it. And she pulled off part of her outfit, and she was like in tights. Was up there, doing her little thing. It was. I mean, I remember that. But if she was just up there lip syncing, it was just, I wouldn't have that vivid memory of that night, So she was live. She was singing it. But those are the kind of performances that I like.
But I've told you they work them so hard now because
Yeah.
they don't make money off of the record. When
Well,
they
they
say,
never
"Oh,
did.
she sold $1 million," it's
Yeah.
like, no, the record company bought part of that, and the artist did.
Well, that very well may be as well, but they still, even buying it, they still didn't make a lot of money because most of the artists
They
only
don't.
got pennies. It's a penny business, and I know that for a fact because I had my own label for a while. And when I found out, after the money is sliced and diced and you end up with pennies in your pocket as the record label, the publisher and all of that, I went, damn, this is not the business I want to be in. And I didn't understand that before I got into it. So my mistake, I didn't do my due diligence and really understand. I thought I understood it because I played the music and I heard about all these dollars that people were making. But, the hand-holding with the artists and the travel expenses, the production, the videos, and all that stuff, it adds up big time. Al Bell taught me in a telephone conversation what the record business was all about. Al Bell was the guy that ran Stax Records back in the day and many other labels, Motown and others. And he said, Lee, let me explain to you. Let me break it down. So he took it from the wholesale costs, and out of that, who got what? When he broke it down, he says, Lee, at the end of the day, what this is, the record business is a penny business. A few pennies for you, a few pennies for the artist, a few pennies over here. At the end of the day, you end up with pennies out of that $9.99 or whatever it is wholesale price. You don't make the money off of the retail price, it's off the wholesale price.
Yeah, but artists make their money now from brands.
Well, yeah, that's the only way they can do
Because
it.
they didn't.
It's not about the
they
record
make
sales.
money off of the shows too.
Well, yeah, but they don't make a lot of money off of record sales. I don't care who you are.
No, they don't. The
No, 'cause
person
nobody's
that
buying the
wrote
music.
the song and produced it makes
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, but
So-
they're not even making as much.
So what a lot of artists do is, even if they didn't write it, the
Mm-hmm.
only way they'll use that producer is they give them credit because
Yeah.
it's been all over the news lately with Beyonce,
Yeah.
Conway West. Is it Justin Bieber now too? They're stealing people's stuff,
Yeah.
but they don't care. They'll just turn around and say, "Hey, look, we'll settle."
Well, it's smart not to do that. If
No,
you're
not
smart,
if the song's going to blow up. You make
Yeah.
sure you're getting a cut of it.
you cut the deal up front. You don't put somebody's work out as yours, and then the song blows up. Look
They
at
do it all the time.
But that's
Lee.
wrong.
Single lady, she didn't write that. A young girl did.
But that's
And
ignorant.
The guy,
They shouldn't do that.
I met the guy that worked with it. She paid the girl $500,000. I'm hoping the girl was smart enough to at least get a small percentage of every sale of that because that song
Yeah.
blew.
Well, see, the thing is, if I was an artist and I was going to use your material, I'm going to cut a deal with you up front, as opposed to not cutting a deal with you.
But
Use
most
your
people
stuff.
that put a song on YouTube, they don't know all that.
Well, then they don't understand the music
But
business,
they don't. They wrote it's like
and that's why they don't make it.
well, no, that's not what I'm saying. There's people that write a song and they put it up on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
And maybe they just wrote the song, but they're not thinking about the
Copywriting
other way. Yeah.
Well,
so I mean, it's the fact that they don't know sometimes what they've done.
No, then you pay the price, and that's why somebody will go out there and steal your stuff, and
I
you
myself,
don't know.
what happened with Single Lady, that young girl, if she was smart,
Mm-hmm.
she would have said, "No, I'm not settling for $500,000."
Well, again,
But
what kind of
$500,000 was a lot of money. To her.
exactly, and what kind of legal advice did she have? When you don't know, you just don't know, and you get taken advantage of. And the music business is one of the biggest pimp business of all time.
Yeah, because you know what they'll do too? They'll take a young artist and let's say she's writing something they really like.
Mm-hmm.
They'll turn around and let an artist that's famous already listen to it. And then
Sure.
she comes in, that person comes with a song similar.
Yep.
Basically almost the same thing, but different words.
Well, that's been going back all the way back in the beginning of the music business.
It's a dog-eat world.
It is. And there were black artists back in the day in the 50s and what have you that would put songs out, and then a white artist would cover it
Well, I
and
think
put it out, and it would just kill the black artist version of it.
that happened to somebody where they gave the song to Elvis Presley.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who was that artist because they did end up becoming famous?
I wanna say,
Michael
was it-
Jackson changed a lot because when MTV came out, they wouldn't play nobody that was black's music.
Right.
And when
Oh,
he
how
got
well I
in
remember.
there, he changed that, which people forget to say those things about him. They look for all the negative stuff.
Right.
But he opened up a can of worms for everybody.
I want to say it was Little Richard.
Is that who it was?
For some reason, that one's jumping out of my head. I'm going to do a little research on it. What was...
But they did that a lot. Where
Oh,
they
yeah. It was
would give 'em
common.
to,
Because, see, what the reason was there were only a handful of black stations back in those days, and nationwide. So if you had a great song and a white artist covered it, they could get it played on a couple of hundred stations. So nobody even knew, other than the handful of black stations during that time, back in the 50s, you didn't get the nationwide exposure. So it was very easy for them to go in the studio and cut that song note for note and put it out. And it was like you never put it out. It goes back to the days of Hound Dog and all of those great songs that R&B artists were doing. And the pop artists, not just here in America, even in Europe, they were doing it. It was called cover. It covers somebody else's song. And you didn't make any money off of it.
well, I think a lot of it was, too, they didn't allow anybody of a color, even Latin, anybody, except a certain race, to be on the radio. I think Dick Clark's show, when that came out, it was
Yeah.
all white people. Then Soul Train came out, and it was all black people. Then all of a sudden, both of them changed a little. You've seen two Asian girls step into Soul Train, and then you've seen some black kids step into, which started changing a lot of stuff.
Well, at that point, by the time American Bandstand came around, things had begun to loose up and what have you.
But it was only white at first.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally.
Just like Soul Train was only black at first.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, I hope we're not going backwards.
No, that's not going to happen.
No, I hope we don't let it happen.
No, it's not going to happen. We're too far away from that kind of bovine. The young people today who never experienced that won't let that happen.
They're a totally different group of people. I mean, the younger people have no problems with what color somebody is, if
No.
somebody's gay. They all hang together. It's the older people, and it's some of the people that go to church that claim to be such a Christian. But it bothers me. If you're such a Christian, then why do you feel you should go out and shoot somebody because they're gay, or you should do this,
'Cause
or
it's
somebody
hypocritical.
of color? Don't sit and tell me you're so religious, because that isn't what God put you to be here. Like,
Yep.
I'm starting to really start to wonder, what is this? Do
Yep.
you think, because and I'm not saying all Christians, because I know a whole lot of Christians that do not think like this. It's more of the Southern ones.
Yep.
They just seem to think if you sit and you read the Bible, all that, it makes them different. No, it doesn't make you different.
That's true.
Church did not be in a building where you paid money to go there. It was in homes. I mean, where was the Last Supper?
Exactly.
Did it sit in a big building?
No.
So it kind of cracks me up what is going on, but they're not going to change these young kids. These young kids are going to rule this country one day.
And that's always been.
And I mean,
you know?
they're a lot smarter, because I was watching Bernie Sanders. Was it up in Oak? I couldn't believe the crowd. And I looked at the crowd. It was all young people.
Yeah.
There were thousands of people, it looked like.
Listen,
Because
he
he's
has
saying what
mass
they
appeal.
want to hear. I think
Yeah.
I'm not a big Bernie Sanders fan, but what he does say, some of it does make sense, because these kids are getting certain ages. They can't get their own places.
That's right.
You read about how they're all having to move back home at 28 and 29.
Yeah, it's rough.
The wages they're getting, they fire older people to bring a younger person in so they can pay them less.
Did you see the president on TV yesterday?
No, I didn't even watch TV, I don't think.
Yeah, he was speaking yesterday about the economy. And what was interesting during the whole speech he was pointing out the good things that have happened under his administration and how people have tried to discount it.
They do.
The stock market has gone up 10,000 points since he's been in office. Now, a lot of people will debate whether or not the presidency has anything to do with that, and I would argue that it does. And if it went the other way, they would use it against him. So in the last 7.5 years, the stock market has gone up to 17,000 or more.
But isn't it funny? They took a poll and said if he was to run again,
Yeah,
he
he'd
beat
win.
that poll.
Yeah, he'd win, no doubt. The only reason I would want to see him become the president again, if we can change the Congress, and the same thing for now. Whoever becomes the next president, whether it's Hillary or Knucklehead, then he or she is going to have the support of Congress. Otherwise, status quo, nothing's going to change. Same old, whoop-de-doo. It's just another person sitting in the office going through the motions of being a president. But as most people ought to know by now, that the president does not have ultimate authority and can wave a magic wand and make things happen. You got to have the support of Congress. So when you go out and vote for the president on November 8th of this year, and if you're not registered, you need to do it now. Don't wait, because in each state they have different deadlines when you can register. So check on that now. In fact, I'm going to get a list and post it on our Facebook and on the website so that you can easily go to that, click on it, and you can find out where you need to go to register. Many times you can do it online. Depends on where you are. But you can very easily, most states, you can go to the DMV, the Division of Motor Vehicle, where you get your license, and register right there. I did. When I turned in my license, I had a Florida license. I turned it in here in California. And there's a sheet there that says you want to, register to vote. And I checked it off, put my information in there, boom, done. A few days later, I got the information from the voter registration people that I was registered. And a few days later, I got my license, which is kind of stupid. California, you got to get up to date. This is a new millennium. Even in Florida, backwards ass Florida, when you go in to get your driver's license, you walk out with it. You don't have to wait and get it in the mail. Who does that anymore? I think Illinois is that way as well.
Let me
That's
ask you a
crazy.
question. So Donald Trump, he owned the golf course where they always had the PGA.
Apparently, yeah.
Isn't it funny because they're taking it from him and they're bringing it to Mexico?
Good for Mexico.
They said he was so angry, but it
wonder
shows
why.
you how many people are just really I seen something earlier where it showed one of the French people that I think she's like a mayor or whatever, and then the new man that's the one in the UK, and they think he's stupid. They use the word stupid.
Well, I don't think they're wrong. He's a media whore. He knows how to hype the media and get people excited. And
No, he's fighting.
but he has
with
no
the-
substance.
He's fighting with the media now.
Oh, well, yeah. But see, that's part of his strategy. Fighting with him means that they're going to get pissed off and they're going to keep the cameras and microphones in front of him because they like that argument. And see, that's he's smart in that respect. But if he didn't do that, nobody would pay him any attention. So my challenge or suggestion to the media is ignore him. Don't go cover him. And see what happens. Then he's going to have to spend some money and buy some damn ads. But as long as he can say stupid stuff, and then they run behind him and follow him around and follow up questions with him about these ignorant comments, then guess what, folks? He stays in front of the camera. He commands more oxygen out of the room. Then Hillary says, well, damn, I got to do something. So the only thing that she can do is play that game and say something crazy, and then they'll point the cameras at her. But chances are she's going to cause more damage to herself because it's expected from Donald that everybody knows he's nuts. But so she can't play that game. She's going to have to spend millions of dollars to get in front of people.
It's. I think she'll spend it once it's past the primaries.
Well, she's going to have to. That's.
But he's going to have to.
That's a
too.
Super Bowl. Then you can't wait any longer. You got to play that game.
He's going to have to too.
Well, he will. He will. But I mean, see, but the great thing about it, he hasn't had to spend a lot to get to where he is now. Look at it. He's now the presumptive nominee.
How do you know he's not paying the media under the table? Come on, Lee.
Well,
let's be serious. Money can buy anything.
Even if he's doing that, he's spending less doing that. If he was coming out of his pocket, as he claims he's doing, paying for these ads. Now, I understand that, he is spending money out of his pocket to finance a campaign, but he's making it as a loan. So when monies come in from donations, he's paying himself back. So out one hand, back in the other. So at the end of the day, if he brings in as much as he's spent, it's a break even. It didn't cost him anything. And I guess that's legal. I don't know what the campaign rules are on that, but apparently that's what I'm hearing at least. But he's a smart guy. He's got good advisors from a financial standpoint, and that's good. But if you don't have that same quality of people advising you when you become a president, then guess what? You're going to be inadequate. You're going to fail. You're going to crash and burn.
Did you hear what Colin Powell said?
No. What did Colin say?
My leg just cramped.
Oh, and you went for a 4-mile walk today, and your legs cramping up?
He went against
that's why I don't
Trump.
walk.
He said he's not going to leave being a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's good friends with Donald, but he feels he can't lead this country. He said this country was built on immigrants.
Right. That's true.
So what are you doing? And he said he's changed the whole. You got to read what he's saying. It's very interesting.
Well, and he said similar things when Obama was running. He didn't vote for a Republican. He actually supported Obama quietly. So he's not a bought and paid for Republican, and I think he's smart. And quite honestly, he ought to be pissed off big time because they set him up with the whole Iraq thing. They had him out front, running around with these poster boards and showing where, they were moving these things around in Iraq and this is weapons of mass destruction. They set the man up. They gave him a bunch of phony-ass information, made him look like he knew what he was doing. At the end of the day, we're still looking for these damn weapons.
Yeah, but you know what else he said I thought was quite amusing? He said, let's tell all the Latins and immigrants, the people he wants to build walls, let's tell them all to stay home tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because they run Trump's, that's who works for
That's
Trump.
right. Yeah, call in
and he
sick.
said, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
He's lost a lot of business in his hotels from
Well, good.
what I hear.
Good.
A lot.
Good. And you can't offend people and expect that they're going to support you in your plight, whatever you're trying to do. It just doesn't make sense. Now, we have a problem in this country with too many people coming into the country illegally. That's a fact. That's a problem.
Well, how did
But
everybody get in before?
Well, it's been going on forever.
Yeah, it has.
But see, here's the thing. It's not just Mexicans. And that's the problem where he focused in, he pointed his barrels at our southern borders and made everybody focus on that. And that's wrong because there are a lot of Europeans. There are a lot of people coming in from the Asian Rim as well, coming from all over the world, Australians, Canadians, Japanese, Chinese, Czechoslovakian, Russians.
Africans.
Big Russian invasion. Africans coming from the Caribbean, coming from all over the damn world. Now, why is it that you want to focus in on one group of immigrants? That's wrong. If you have a problem with people coming in here illegally, let's deal with the problem. But not focus in on one group. Well, it's 11 million. Okay, but that's been happening forever. And they have been our friends. There have been the people that go out there in these fields and work in your yard and do the hard labor that you don't want to do, and you pay them jackass wages, and they show up and do a credible job. How are you going to be mad at people like that? Well, they're criminals and they're bringing in drugs and drugs are coming in from all over the world.
Come on, who helps build those tunnels going under?
Yeah, come on. Where do you think all the opium is coming from? The Middle East. Primarily from the Middle East. In Afghanistan, that was the poppy plants. That's where opium comes from. That is what killed Prince. Now the report is out. They're saying that he died from opium-based drugs.
Well, I think some of these doctors need
no
to have
surprise.
their license taken from them.
Well, they should.
This is happening too much.
They should. They should absolutely lose their license. And I hear about many artists, celebrities.
It isn't even just artists. It's just everyday people, too.
There's a report. I don't know where it is now. But I was watching something online here just a few minutes ago before we went on the air. And they showed a graph of how many people have died over the years, last 10, 15 years, from opium-based drugs. And it's like 20,000 a year. That's crazy. That's a lot of people. And there are a lot of people that suffer from pain. I get it. But there's got to be some alternatives.
Well, the
It has to
alternative
be.
is learn how to deal with some pain.
Yeah, you got to live with it.
I refuse to take ibuprofen.
Listen,
I'll take it maybe 2 days in a row if I have to. But
I had surgery
It goes away.
twice in my life. I had a hernia repair, and on my wrist, I fell off a ladder, and I broke this, I think it's pronounced scaphoid bone in my wrist. So I got a titanium screw in there. I'm all screwed up. Boom, boom. And I had to take some pain medicine for a short period of time. But they gave me, what was it, Valium? And it made me have psychedelic dreams.
Why would they give you a Valium for pain?
I don't know.
That's for your mental illness.
Is it? Well, that's what they gave me. I stopped taking that shit.
No, I'm serious.
I'm
They
out.
give Valiums for people when they're
Maybe-
stressed or anxiety.
Maybe it was the muscle. Is that also used for muscle relaxer or something? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Well, that's what they gave me. And I took a couple of them and I stopped.
It probably made you tired, huh?
I had psychedelic dreams from it. It
You
was
sure
weird.
you weren't taking acid with it?
No, that was back in the 60s.
Because they actually get. I would think they would.
Maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was something else.
Maybe
I've never
maybe
taken any.
Percocet,
It might-
Vicodin.
Vicodin. That's
Okay,
what it was.
he
Vicodin.
just corrected himself.
Yeah,
people.
I'm not a nutball
Because
whack
I'm like
job.
a Valium for
No,
pain.
no. Vicodin. That's what it was.
I can't take stuff like Valium or that.
No,
if
I
they
can't.
give them to me because it doesn't really work.
Yeah. So I just roughed it out, But I'm a tough guy anyway.
When I'm stressed, I have trouble sleeping. I wouldn't care what I took.
Yeah, I'm so tough. You know what? I don't shave. You know what I do? I take a ball peen hammer and I beat the hair back in and I bite it off on the inside. That's how tough I am.
You don't shave, really?
Carol, I'm going to cut your mic off.
No, there's people that don't have to shave. I mean,
No, I shave. I
there's
shave
kids
every
that
day.
just wait. I have a grandson that waits, and he gets a little tiny tuft beneath his chin and a very thin mustache, but
Yeah.
he swears he has a beard. And then my other son, I think he's been shaving since he's been in 8th grade or something.
Wow. Yeah. Hairy kid.
He grows beards and that.
Yeah. I had beard one time.
I don't like hairy chests, though.
No. I don't have a lot.
But a lot of women do. A lot of my friends do, but I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Or hair. Oh, I hate it if I'm walking, I see somebody with hair growing out the back of the top of their shirt.
That's not attractive. Part gorilla. Part gorilla at that point. Troglodyte, caveman, Neanderthal. Come here.
Have you bothered to? I'm going to switch again. I do that a lot.
Yeah, you do.
Have you noticed how many Republicans that are up there are not going to the convention?
I haven't
There's
really
a
been
list
paying
of them.
attention. Yeah?
Yep.
Interesting.
But in a way, you can't blame him because he's basically destroyed the Republicans.
Well, you know
Unless
what?
they get an independent, they're going to pull in there at the last minute, which they
I don't
probably
think that's
will.
going to happen.
I don't know. You don't know.
I don't know, but I don't think it's going to happen. I just think that it would cause so much chaos.
Because they were saying something today that Ryan might have to step down. And a Hispanic woman stepped down. She was on the RNC? Mm-hmm. She stepped down.
Why?
I guess because of all what's going on. She stepped down.
So is she in support of him or not?
Not in support of him.
Interesting. Well, listen. There are only two ways this thing could go. When Donald Trump goes to the Republican National Convention, and if he doesn't get the support there, I mean, he's already got the delegates. So all they're going to do is go through the motion unless there's a huge shift. If 50% of the people who are now supporting him decide not to, that could cause a train wreck. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that the Republican establishment is going to cave, because if they don't, it's going to cause further chaos, and the Republican Party as we know it today will never be the same, because it will be fractionalized to a point where it could never be repaired. Now, I'll go back to something, and I'm trying to remember who said this almost 8 years ago when President Obama beat the Republicans in 2008. And I'm trying to remember who made the statement. He said, the Republicans will not see the White House for at least 20 years. And they gave reasons why. And it was a very compelling story. And I agree with them, because the Republican Party is so dysfunctional, and there's so many fractions inside of that party. And the latest craziness are those Tea Party people who came in with that craziness. The Tea Party folks are so far out on the right, you can't reel them in. They're so far out there by themselves, and they have taken a significant toll on the Republican Party. Now, here comes this other guy, this Donald Trump guy. He comes in, and he's kind of out there with them to a certain degree, but then he's gone in a different direction. So there's another division. And then the establishment is sitting in the middle going, we don't want to be over here, and we definitely don't want to be over here. We're in the middle by ourselves. But guess what? It's not enough of them to have control. They've lost control. So, and from my perspective, because I'm not a big Republican supporter, nor do I support everything on the Democratic side. I'm kind of more of a centrist than anything. But this is the beginning of the end of the Republican Party as we know it. Now, what's going to happen when they get to the convention? The establishment, the guys in the middle, are going to cave in because they have nowhere else to go. They can be bad little boys, little schoolyard boys.
I don't think they're going to all cave in.
Well, they're going to have to.
The woman that walked away is Ruth Guerrero. Mm-hmm. She's the head of the Hispanic media with the RNC.
Well, I don't blame her. I'd leave too.
She feels very uncomfortable.
She should be, because she's been offended and disrespected and not included. She's been a person that's sitting in there holding a position, and they're not listening to her. I have a number of black Republican friends. We have this debate on the phone all the time. And I would say to them, what are they allowing you to do? You have good ideas. You're saying that more black folks need to be involved in the Republican Party. When you go to the head of the RNC and you give them ideas of how to bring black people into the party, what do they tell you? And I get that moment of silence.
I want to see what he's gonna give Ben Carson if he makes it.
Well, who cares? Ben is milquetoast. He's boring.
No, but I'm just saying, if people are thinking like this, because he looks like a person of color.
Yeah, and he'll go along. He'll go along to get along. He's meaningless. You know, he's boring. He doesn't have any ideas. I mean, he was a great surgeon and all that. I mean, I'm not trying to disrespect him as a human being, but as a politician, I don't want to hear anything he's got to say. Nothing. Zero. Stay home. Have a garden. Grow a garden. I'm not feeling him at all. Never have. But until they include minorities into the party, it's not going to grow. It's not. It's just a bunch of old hypocrite white men controlling things, and it's not going to go anywhere. America, listen to me, Republican Party, America has changed, and you do not have the numbers on your side now to continue to dictate and divide this country the way you have. It's not going to work until you get more inclusive, include people. Your history. You used to be. Once upon a time. Then what do? They say, well, during the Reagan era, there were Reagan Democrats. Well, yeah, but they ain't there anymore. And if that's your last hit, that was over 30 years ago. And you're still talking about Reagan? Please. Are you serious? Reagan? That's the best thing that you got? Y'all need to let it go. You better come up with something new. Otherwise, you'll be history. People will be saying, you remember the Republican Party? I'm serious. Think about it. Now, the Democrats got his issues too. They're weak. I used to use a phrase, they're pieback. They're not fighters. President Barack Obama didn't get the support.
All wars aren't won by fighting.
Well,
sometimes they're won by people that know how to talk.
In politics, you got to fight and push back.
I don't know. I have a feeling
you can't roll
Hillary's going to win.
Oh, I'm not saying that she's going to win or not.
I don't
that
think
has nothing
she's
to do
a
with
big
it.
fighter, but sometimes the way she uses words and when she tells you what she feels she can change.
Well,
she doesn't talk
I'm not talking
ignorant.
about the president. I'm talking about the party as a whole.
Well, I'm talking about the party too.
Yeah. But until she gets in there, if she wins, and I'm saying if, because I'm not sure. At this point, I'm not sure.
Well, see, I have to think positive.
I'm trying to think positive. I've already said I'll vote for her.
I can't see Trump running this country.
Here's my problem with Hillary right now.
Well, would you feel better if it was Bernie?
I like Bernie. And I've already said
I'll should have been out there supporting him.
Well, I have, and I've not been out on the campaign because I've been too busy. On door knocking and stuff like that. I've done enough of that in my life. But here's my position. I like what Bernie's doing. I think he's waking up a group of people or keeping them engaged.
He's doing the same thing Obama already did. He's got the younger people voting.
Right, but Hillary didn't have that. She doesn't have.
No, she doesn't. But she's got the people of a certain age. I mean,
but
she's
that's
doing
not
something
win.
right. She's won him.
But,
it's over for him.
Well,
him.
because
if New Jersey, she gets those delegates, he's gone.
Well, he's already gone as far as trying to become the nominee.
Well, he thinks strong. I do like that about him. He doesn't give up. But
right.
When I say to people, do you see him as our VP? People get kind of frightened, and then other people, in a way, say, yeah, because then he's in there, and all the younger people like him.
Well, I think the problem, Carol, is people are looking at this thing the wrong way. Bernie is serving a purpose.
I think they're all serving a purpose.
Of course. But you got to look at statistically, look at the facts. The numbers that Hillary has, those are ironclad supporters. The superdelegates are politicians. They're going to roll with her because of her experience, her relationship, her husband, et cetera, et cetera. So they had to go with her. Now, what she has missed from day one, and Bernie would not be a factor right now if she had focused in on the younger group, the same people that are supporting Bernie are the same people that were excited about Obama. She missed that boat. She did not go to the pier to get on that young voter boat, and it left the pier without her.
Maybe because
Bernie was the captain.
Maybe because a lot of these young kids aren't going to vote.
No. They're not
paying attention.
They don't matter.
I gotta go and.
They don't matter if they're not going to vote.
They do matter.
They don't. If they don't vote, they don't matter. They are not a part of the winning. They're a part of the losing. If you don't participate, I don't even want to talk about them.
No, I'm not talking about them that way.
No.
I think they will vote when it comes to the part of the president, but a lot of them aren't voting in the primaries.
No, that's fine.
That's
fine.
why he did so bad.
Well,
that's all I'm saying. They support him, but if you're going to support him, support him all the way.
You can't include the people that don't vote into the success or non-success that both of them are seeing right now.
You can't go out and have big rallies, and you got hundreds and hundreds of young people there. These kids need to jump on the bandwagon all the way. If you're going to support Bernie,
well, I think the people are out there at those rallies. I think most of them are registered voters. I don't think those people are engaged.
No, but that isn't what I'm saying. If that's true, then why is she beating him?
She's beating him because she's winning the upper end and he's winning the lower end. It's not
I look at the
all the
votes
same.
when it's all, and I've never seen him hardly ever above her.
But he's
So,
see,
Maybe in
you
the
don't
smaller
understand.
places.
You don't understand.
I understand delegates and super delegates.
He's won 18 or 19 states. Okay, and and she's won that many or more. She's won more states.
That's like saying how many people watch a beauty pageant. The ones with the more people, I doubt if people in California or New York watch beauty pageants. So what I'm trying to say, smaller cities or smaller states, they're more apt to think that way.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, come on. The reality is this. The way the voting system is set up, especially on the Democratic side as relates to the primary votes, it's not really about the popular vote.
All I care about, I don't want to see Trump in office.
Well, we don't disagree on that. But the reality is, strategically, Hillary's weakness is the young vote.
And what's Sanders' weakness?
He doesn't have the upper end. Neither one of them are perfect.
Yeah.
Okay?
So let me ask you a question. If Sanders, since he isn't winning, are you going to vote for Hillary?
I'm going to vote for Hillary, yes.
Okay.
I'm going to vote for Sanders in the primary, though. I'm going to give them both a vote. Primary vote, I'm going to give it to Sanders because I think what he needs is as much juice going into the convention as possible to hold her feet in the fire, okay? These are politicians. These people make deals. It's about cutting deals, folks. I don't give a damn what anybody tells you. At the end of the day, Hillary and Bernie will sit down and have a discussion. She's going to say to Bernie, I need your support. Bernie's going to say and look her straight in the eye, I want to get behind you, and I will get behind you, but this is what I need you to commit to right now and follow up on it. That's how politics works. And when they come to a meeting of the minds, and I'm sure that they will, because it's in the best interest of the party. It's about winning. So they both have a purpose right now, keeping you and me engaged in the process so that we'll go out and vote. And then once that happens, when they get to that convention, Hillary will come out as being the nominee. It might be a little fuzzy. It might be a little action. And see, we were talking about the Republican convention is going to be chaotic and, and all that. Well, it's not going to be that bad, as it turns out, because technically, legally, Donald has the number of delegates he needs to be the nominee. So he will get that. And Hillary is going to get it. But she also needs, I can't stress this enough, she needs the support of the Bernie cartel.
Well, he's going to need that. Trump's going to need the support of the Republicans.
Well, yeah. So it's a deal making on both sides of the aisle. He's going to have to cut some deals with the Republican establishment as well. Not as much as he might have to, because he's going into the convention in a strong position. He already has the delegate votes, so they can't take it away from him without causing serious disruption and destroying the party. He has painted them in a corner, and they can't come out. Mitch McConnell, what you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You're gonna have to cave in. You're gonna have to give up all those old nasty ways, and hopefully your guy will be able to pull it off. I'm not convinced of that, but we'll see.
Did you see that last night when the freeway was shut down?
No.
Well, it was weird because there
Here
was
in
a
LA?
young girl that was going to jump.
Oh, jumper.
But on
yeah.
the first part, it said she fell down from the observatory. But then when it came out in the news, it kept coming in different ways that she didn't jump, but she did fall into something.
Well,
But they
they
did
don't like
save
to
her,
report
but-
jumpers.
They
kinda-
were reporting it.
Yeah, but they don't like to.
But they
because
were. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Then all of a sudden it changed. They just showed the part where she's
Yeah.
standing there still, and
yeah.
which was kind of sad because she was doing this because of a broken relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
it's so hard, when you're with somebody, you can't think like that. You got to just tell yourself,
Yeah, it's sad.
you got to think of all the bad things about the person.
Yeah. Oh, no,
Let them outweigh the good stuff, and it'll help you.
Yeah. Well, just think about what's good for you and let that relationship go and move on down the road.
And then, like the young
I'm
man,
going to write a book on that.
Do you know why he shot this professor? And
It was over intellectual property, apparently, and also reporting that this guy had a hit list, a list of people he wanted to get rid of, and he killed another woman in Minnesota. I don't have the story in front of me right now.
what
but
do you mean in Minnesota? Did he fly out here to come do this?
apparently,
Oh, wow.
yeah. I think he's a former student.
Yeah, I know
And there
that.
was an
So he
argument-
flew all the way here,
Yeah.
and he probably would have killed more people at UCLA.
I think, yeah, it's a possibility if somebody had gotten in the way, but apparently he was able to get to the professor and he shot him and then he shot
Had he
himself.
been threatening this professor?
I don't know. We don't have, well, at least it's not being reported at this point to that degree, but they found a note and the professor's name was on it and this girl that they also found at her apartment dead.
And why did he kill her? Do they know?
And in the report that I read before coming on air, didn't say. But apparently, there may be a connection between her and the professor. I don't know. Maybe she was also a student at the same time, and who knows? We'll see how it comes out in the wash. But it just these are the kind of things that happen in life, and it's unfortunate, and that it happens. But I'll tell you, when people are upset and over intellectual property, so that's an argument. Well, I created this, you didn't. And I should get paid on this and you shouldn't. This is mine. I did this in class. I created this and you're taking this and making it your own. That's probably what it is. Anytime you have an argument over intellectual property, it's like Carol and I might have an argument over who I write a song and then she, says, well, Lee, you need to change this word. And then I change that word. And then we get into an argument about who's the owner.
Well,
Carol might say,
I
well-
would be part owner now because
Well, yeah,
I wrote a word.
But that's what I'm saying. So maybe it's something similar to that. But one could argue, say, well, you just suggested a word change, but it didn't change the song. You didn't write the song. You just
Doesn't
changed the
matter
word.
if you allow somebody to come in and change a word in a song. They can lay
One word.
claims to part of that song. They
One
sure
word.
can, yes.
Really?
Maybe that one word becomes the main word that people like with
Well,
the
if
song.
it changes the name of the song, I can understand it. But if you said change the to something else, then really does that?
Yeah, they if you change the song and you come in and you change the word, they can have some rights to that song.
Okay, I'm gonna talk
That's
to
why a lot of
entertainment
entertainers,
lawyer
like
on that.
when I worked with Michael Jackson, people would try to send him songs, but they didn't know where he lived. And everybody was told, don't ever give him something. Because
Right.
they'll turn around and swear he stole something from him.
Of course, that's a real
But I
problem.
feel if I came in and I gave you a word that made the song sound better, then I feel I do own something on that song.
Well, then you need to talk about that up front. That eliminates that
but
issue.
everything doesn't come up front, Lee.
But it should.
That's what life's about.
No, but that's why life is screwed up because you don't get in front of the problem. You wait until after the problem, then you got a problem. But do it in front.
We
So if
all,
I come to you
you
and
know
say,
what, Lee? We all make mistakes.
Well, but
it's like
this-
I used to be a
you're right.
lawyer, and you know what he'd say to me? Why didn't you do a contract first, or
that's my
do
point.
this first? And I'd go, wasn't thinking about it. He goes, well,
That's
you
my
need to
point.
think about it.
That's my point. You got to get in front of it. Take care of your business up front. When people come to me with ideas and say, well, Lee, I want you to look at this. I said, okay, send me an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, and then I'll sign that. Then I'll look at your project. But I don't want it ever to be said that you sent me something, I looked at it, and then I went out and did something similar to what you did. Now we're in a lawsuit.
But
I'm
what,
not doing
what
that.
I'm trying to say is sometimes one word
I
could
get
make
that.
song
I
better
get
than
that.
what it is
Sure.
or was. It's like
Sure.
Rihanna's song. What draws you to that song? The word work.
Right. So
Just work.
if you change a word to work or whatever, but my point again is have that discussion before you give them the word, and then have an agreement before you give them the
Normally
word.
they would. If you're sitting there with them and you're helping them write a song, you do have an agreement. You're writing a song with them.
Well, do you? Do you have something in writing is my point.
You don't have to. If you're sitting there and you're writing a song with somebody, whether it's 1 word, 20 words, 100 words, you're sitting there writing the song with them.
I understand that. So you're assuming that they're on the same page that you're on.
Normally you
You're
are.
being honest and open.
Normally when people write songs nowadays, it
If
isn't
I was-
just one person.
If I was managing you and you told me you were going to go write songs with someone, I would say to you, okay, let's get an agreement.
Why would
before
I?
you start doing that.
I'm not going to do that because I'm already going to have my lawyer, and he's going to decide what that manager percentage. Managers always don't get a percentage off of everything.
I'm not talking about percentages. I'm just talking about advice.
But I'm just
legal
taking
advice,
you back. My
business
lawyer
advice.
would tell me what does the manager need
Well,
to be there for.
Well, listen. If you are not,
You're taking it a whole thing out of context.
No, I'm
I
not.
said to you,
No,
if
I'm
you
not.
sit down with me and we're writing a song together, whether I write 1 word,
Carol,
10 words,
Carol,
I own part of the
Carol,
song.
I'm saying to you, before you sit down and write a song with me or anybody else, you need to have an agreement in place and an understanding about what your percentages are.
Can I
what-
tell you something? Having a person that is in the business, the world's
I'm in the
changed
business
now,
too.
but you don't write songs.
I have written songs.
Well, but you don't write them now.
It doesn't matter.
So I'm just
Business
trying to
is
say,
business.
when somebody sits down, the agreement
I don't
normally...
want to write a song.
Let me finish. Normally, the entertainment lawyer, once the song's written, they sit down with the other people that work, and they make a decision.
Okay.
What do you feel you owe on this song?
Okay.
And that's normally...
Well,
any entertainment
I
lawyer
tell
I've
you what.
talked to that, and I've seen them how they work it.
Oh, I'm telling
So
you.
they will sit down and say,
using-
well, I want my artist that I'm managing, since she came in and she worked on the song.
but that's after the fact
Let's
now.
take the song and she
You've
didn't
put your-
produce the song. Let me finish now.
But you put yourself in a bad
for what?
position.
Let me finish. I don't need you to interrupt right now.
I am, because
So
your
when-
point is
no,
crazy.
I don't interrupt you.
You do all the damn
So
time.
when it comes to song, you sit down.
You got to remember, I control the mics now. I will turn your
Then
ass
turn
off.
me off.
Turn you off.
That's acting
Don't
like
act
a
like a
2-year-old.
baby. This is a talk show.
It is, but you don't allow me to.
No,
finish something.
I'm not.
I know the music world
We're
just
gonna-
like you do.
Well, that's fine.
So allow me to
we
finish.
don't. We
I'm
have an
just- I'm
agreement.
just
We don't
trying
have.
to
We
tell
don't
you
have to
something,
agree.
Lee.
We don't have to agree.
You don't have to agree, but let me finish what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, okay, you're rambling. So get to the point. What's
I'm
your
not
point?
rambling.
What's your point?
I was saying if a person's an artist,
I'm gonna turn the camera on.
and
you in
I
a
know
minute.
this because no, but please don't do that right now. If somebody
You don't have any boogers hanging.
especially if you've been a business manager, you see all this.
I have.
If they write a song and they're in the studio together, when they're done with the song, they take the song and they turn around and the lawyer sits with their whoever their lawyer is most likely, and they go, okay, this person, the 3 of them wrote the song, so let's divide it. There's 3 of them, 3 ways, but that's not the music part. That comes into another thing. Let's say the person that came in
Right.
and wrote the melody and the music, that's a whole other thing out of that song.
Yep.
Because I've sat where I've had to see this kind of stuff and
Me too.
look at it.
I've been in
And
those
now.
meetings.
And that's all I was trying to say.
Okay. Now, my response to that is, if you take care of your business up front, you establish your relationship.
They don't do that, though.
But that's what's wrong with the business. That's why people end up in lawsuits, because you don't have an agreement up front.
If you have a good entertainment lawyer and both of you do, it's not a problem.
You're going to spend a
Really
lot
not.
more money with your lawyer racking up hours on you doing it that way.
Nowadays, most entertainment lawyers will do a percentage basis.
Well, but still, that's it's just, I'm saying.
So in
we
other
agree.
words, they'll take 5%.
You're right. They're going to make more money doing it
They
one
don't
way
do
or
it
the
by
other.
the hour.
Okay.
Some do.
Okay.
But if they think an artist is going to blow up, they'll do a contract where it's on a
Right.
percentage basis.
Okay.
And
Well,
that's a
do it-
smart way to do it. But
Do it your way. That's
no,
fine.
I'm just telling you, I've
That's
seen.
fine.
I don't know how you've seen it done, which is right.
I've done
There's
it in a
two
number of different ways. I've seen people make horrible mistakes trying to fix something, trying to establish a relationship after you've already performed. That's not smart.
Oh, no, that's all done up front.
Well, what you just said was not done
I
up
didn't
front.
say with music. I said up front when they're going to perform. It's already set in stone.
No.
This is what they're doing.
You misunderstood my words when I said perform. Whether you're writing a song with someone else, you should establish, have an understanding, a relationship, an agreement before you sit down and start writing. That curtails, it eliminates any arguments about who owns what. You spell it out in an agreement. So when you finish penning your materials, your songs, it's clear. You walk away from it and you know what you're going to get. You don't have to negotiate after the fact, because at that point it's emotional, and then it's going to be egotistical positions being taken. Well, I did this and you did that. No. If I participate in it, at whatever level, you have a clear percentage breakdown up front. So there's no argument. There's no argument at that point.
It's not
That's
an argument.
clean.
The two lawyers get together and
But you don't need to do that. You do that up front.
They don't do it up front.
But that's wrong.
Well,
That's wrong. I wouldn't do it.
what I've heard,
I
they
would
don't
not
do it up
I
front.
would not recommend to anyone to do it any other way, because you're going to run into chaos after the fact. And I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to invite some legal people on. We're going to bring in some managers. We're going to bring in some legal
I'll get you
people.
an entertainment lawyer.
I know a bunch of them.
I do too.
Yeah. So good. You bring yours, I'll bring
No,
mine.
I'm not some little kid. It's like you throw a rock and I'll throw a
Well, I'm just
brick.
saying. I mean,
Give me a break.
Your argument is based on your experience. My argument is based on my
is not-
experience,
I'm
and
not
that's
arguing
okay.
with you. I'm telling you what I've seen.
That's your
what
argument.
goes on
That's your
nowadays,
position.
not 20 years ago. Nowadays,
I'm talking about right now. I'm not talking about 20 years ago.
I
Why,
just
why would
know-
you think that what
I-
I'm saying is from 20 years
You
ago?
know what? Let's change
Why?
the
Why would you say
subject.
that? Why would you say that, Carol?
Because you don't work in the business doing this now.
But I'm still in the business. I'm sitting here talking to you. I talk to people in the business all the time. I have hundreds of people that I know in the business. I'm constantly consulting with people in the business. I don't have to be a record label or president of a record label to know what the hell's going on. I can pick up the phone and call the presidents of record labels and find out what's going on. I don't have to be in the business to know what's going on. I'm in it for 51 years. I'm not boo-boo the fool. I know this business. And I'm not saying that you don't, but what you're talking about is based on your experience, and that's fine.
No,
you're not wrong.
It wasn't based on my experience.
I'm just simply saying it makes common sense to have an agreement up front before you engage with anyone. I manage a couple of guys that are in Washington, D.C. area, Maryland and D.C. These are songwriters. They produce music, tracks, okay? I will not let them engage into anybody with anyone until we have an agreement up front. That way it's clean, Carol. It's no hocus pocus and nobody getting upset. I don't want them to listen to anybody's lyrics to make music for it until we have an agreement.
They don't get upset.
They do.
They
It's
don't.
called ego.
No, I've seen them sit and the lawyer talks to theirs and they decide how they're going to divide the song.
You're right.
This is after, not always with everybody,
No, I
but with
wouldn't do it.
artists that I know from that are with labels.
okay. All
Because
right.
it's not a fight. It's like this person came in, he produced he did the melody, he did the
Sure.
music. This person, these three sat down and wrote the song. So we're going to split it 3 ways. We're not going to say he wrote 10 words, she wrote 200, he wrote 1. They divide it 3 ways.
Okay.
And they don't usually fight. I've never seen them fight.
Okay. Well, I have, and, and it
but
goes
that's
on all the
your
time.
experience.
And it is a problem because it's an ego business. Whether it was 50 years ago or
Well,
today.
I kind of think the younger generation's a little different now.
Well, it is to a certain degree.
Yeah.
They tend to be more free form with it, more what I want to use the word open source. But at the end of the day, and you know, Carol, there are a lot of people who have participated with some big artists and some huge songs that never got paid anything because they were in the
I
room.
wasn't talking about that type of artist. I was talking when people sit down and write.
But again, these are people
if they bring you in, everybody already knows that song. Everybody has their own lawyer, and they already know. But people that come in and they don't have a lawyer and don't sit with the publishing and all that after,
right,
then you're asking for that problem.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, the artist has a huge publishing deal where they've had money given to them up front. And the same, like with songwriters and that, the same thing. So
yeah,
I wasn't saying it like that. I know people steal all the time, but I'm talking about when you go in, like 3 people, you're going to write a song. You're sitting down like 2 human beings, and you're working on a song. You want to make a great song.
And that works sometimes.
Well,
sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, it does work sometimes.
Sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't.
But you're right.
And when it doesn't, that's when you have a problem. And then you're then after the fact trying to make it work. And that's where the egos come into play, and that's when the lawyers get happy, because now there's confrontation, and and then you got a problem. That's all. That was my point. Carol half listens. She gets pissed off and walks out, but that's okay. She'll be back. Anyway, tell you what, we're going to take a quick break here. But see, this is my point. When people get emotional, they lose control. And then you got a problem. You have a problem. But if you have a clear understanding up front, you eliminate the problems. Okay? Do your due diligence. Have your agreements in place. Clear understanding. So you know what to expect. And then there's no surprises. There's no egos getting hurt. None of that. So if anybody tells you anything that's different than that, then you need to question that, because it's just basic common sense. Getting in front of the problem beforehand, not waiting until after the fact, because you've lost your power, your position of negotiating. Because, hey, they can easily say, well, no, you didn't. And you say, yes, I did. So where are you? You're at a stalemate. Checkmate. You're not going anywhere. At the corner of walk and don't walk. So my advice, never put yourself in that position, because it's very uncomfortable and very difficult to keep that relationship. So now you're upset because the other person says, well, I don't want to give up that kind of percentage because I'm the guy. And you say, well, I'm the guy too. We're the guy. We're both the guy. So you're trying to be reasonable and trying to work this thing out. So now you wrote the song together, and let's say the song has success. Many times you might not want to go back and write with that person again, because you now have a bad taste in your mouth. And maybe the other person does too. But you could have been a great writing team together. And a song is not a song. You can write all the words in the world. Until music is put to it, then it becomes a song. So you can write all day long. All you have is some words. Could maybe be a poem, a 2-3 minute story, but it's not a song until you put music to it. So understand that. That's the way the business works. That's called taking care of your business. If you don't do that up front, folks, you're going to have a problem. Whether it's writing songs or developing software or starting a business, an ice cream business or whatever, know what the hell you're going to do up front. Have an agreement. Otherwise, trust me when I tell you, it's happened to me because I'm a trusting, giving person, and I've seen it happen to hundreds of other people because they went in with the right attitude and expectations. And when money gets involved, people get stupid.
You having fun yet? ThePowerOfVoices.com.
Hi, everybody. I'm Simone.
And this is Tiara, and we're the host of A Fat Girl's World here on ThePowerOfVoices.com.
Make sure you tune in on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 4 p.m.
Yes, and we literally talk about everything. Typically, women things.
Women things, but we get personal.
We get personal.
Super real.
So if you guys like real, here's a place to be.
At A Fat Girl's World at ThePowerOfVoices.com.
Every hiring manager knows that a company is only as good as the people it's made from. So where do you find the best people? That may surprise you.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
This is talent worth knowing about.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
All right, everybody in the car, let's go.
What are we gonna do first when we get there, Mom? Go for a hike?
Sure.
What about canoeing? Can we go canoeing too?
I don't see why.
How long does it take to get to the forest?
It's not that far, sweetie.
Are we there yet?
Yep, we're here.
Already?
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Can you hear it? Change is coming. ThePowerOfVoices.com.
Welcome back to the Lee Michaels Show. We are here 10 to noon, Monday through Friday, on thepowerofvoices.com. Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon, on thepowerofvoices.com. Go to our Facebook page, powerofvoices.com, and share on your Facebook page and tell your friends that you like the show, okay? And go to our website. If you're listening to us on Facebook right now, go to our website and see all of the great shows that we have here. It's incredible. All kinds of different kinds of show. We got a couple of girls on here called the Fat Girls, and they're proud of it. And they're professional models. They talk about what goes on in the modeling world and just what goes on in their lives. They're plus-size girls. They're very successful models. We have another lady out of Chicago. Her name is Laura Rice. She has a great show, and she talks about what goes on in the plus-size world as well. So we got something for the plus-size world from a female perspective. We got a great sports show with Greg Bell. He's talking about life, sports, what's going on, and he's really excited and talking a lot about the Rams coming back to L.A. So you got to check him out. Go to our website, thepowerofvoices.com, and you'll see we have it listed day by day, the various shows that come on and the hour that they come on, the whole nine. It's a great layout. I've seen a lot of websites in my day, and this is a very, very easy to use website, and you can listen to us on your cell phone, your computer, your laptop, your tablets. Got you covered. And in the next few days, hopefully the apps will be ready. We're waiting for Apple to approve the app, and the Android app will have as well. So as soon as that is available, we'll make an announcement and let you know that those apps are ready. But you can listen to us on your phone right now. You don't need the app. People like to have apps for whatever reason, but you don't need it because we made the design of the website. It automatically adjusts or it responds to the type of device that you're using. So no matter whether you're on a cell phone or a computer or tablet, it's going to adjust size-wise so it fits right in and looks good and it works. Unlike a lot of websites, you ever go to a website on your phone and it's like all squeezed together? You know, it looks just like it does on your computer, but it's all tight and you can't read the words. That's called non-responsive. It doesn't respond to your device. So that's what you gotta you gotta have a site like that if you're gonna have one. Facebook is responsive. And most WordPress sites are responsive. Most, not all. If they're using an old template, then it's not going to be responsive. So anyway, that's a little tech update of things that are forthcoming here at the Power of Voices. And our sister station, Hot 92.3 The Beat, has its own app. And you can download that from the Google Store or the Apple Store. Hot923thebeat.com. If you like old school music, you can go over there and check some of that out. And just checking some updates of the news here. So if I sound like I'm a little preoccupied, I'm trying to see what's happening in the news. So many times when we come on the air, news, changes. New stuff comes up. I want to keep you informed of what's happening in the world. Here in Los Angeles, there's a big article in Monday's paper. I talked a little bit about it on Tuesday, but I wanted to revisit that. About the homeless here in L.A. And the homeless thing is a real issue for me because in America, I believe that there should be no homeless people. We're a great nation. We have many, many resources. And I find it very difficult to understand why we have so many people living on our streets. Many of them have mental issues, substance abuse. Others, and in the last 5 or 6 years, many of those people have lost their homes through the whole failure of the housing market and had to end up on the streets. And it's sad. But America shouldn't be treating its citizens that way. Yeah, I'm a bleeding heart liberal when it comes down to this. Because I think that we can do better. We can come up with resources and ways to keep people off the streets. And that's just the way it is. We need to do a better job at that. Here in Los Angeles, there's over 5,000 people living on the streets in tents, under shrubbery, and just wherever they can fall down and sleep. And that's sad. Fortunately, it's not very cold here. It's been chilly in the 60s almost every day and goes up to the 70s. Maybe in the valleys it might hit 80 or 85. But along the coast, it's still kind of chilly. But my point is this. There are vouchers that they're being given, the homeless people, and they go out looking for an apartment to rent. And these vouchers are good for like $1,500 for one bedroom, I think it is. The landlords don't want to accept these vouchers for a number of reasons, and I can understand some of the reasons why they don't want to deal with the system. It takes a while to get things approved, and the regulations they have to live up to make sure the place is clean and safe and, up to the building code and all that. And many of these landlords are, flying under the radar as it relates to that. And they don't want to make the necessary repairs in order for them to participate in the voucher program. So that's problematic. And then it takes a while for that process to go through, even if your buildings are up to standards. Then they've kind of sweetened the deal. So if you've got one of these vouchers, you go into the landlord, the voucher covers your first and last and your deposit. So they shouldn't have any issue there, right? You would think. So many of these landlords are coming back saying, well, I want to help out, but this person has been homeless. And I'm not sure if the neighbors will be cool with that. So you automatically have the stigma that's placed over your head that because you're homeless, that you're a bad person. You're not going to be a good neighbor. Now, many of these homeless, especially here in Los Angeles, are vets. They have served this country in the military. Now, it's my understanding that if you are a vet and you are trying to get housing, You have to be listed homeless for a year before the Veterans Administration will step in and assist you. That's sad. That doesn't make sense. Why would you have someone having to live on the streets for a year who have served this country? To put them through that, I don't understand that. That seems very un-American to me. Very, very un-American. That's not how we operate. We're the land of the brave and the free and the loving and the giving. We're always helping people all around the world. We complain about other countries that don't deal with human rights. And we have hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people living on the streets. I don't get that. I don't understand it. How do you sleep at night knowing that someone is living on the streets that may not have had a shower for who knows how long? Where do they go to when they have to go to the bathroom? They have to go to a convenience store. Some of the stores don't want them to come in, or a gas station. And if you're in downtown LA, there ain't too many gas stations around. I don't think they put portable pots out for you to use. So it's got to be rough. It's got to be real rough. And then, you'll have people that say, well, I won't help them because they're criminals, or they're doing drugs, and they're doing this, or they're alcoholics. Not all of them. I've had conversations with people out there on the streets because I want to know what's going on. Why? See, that word is very powerful, the word why. Why are you living on the streets? How did you get here? Where were you before this? You haven't always been on the streets, so at one point you lived somewhere. And the answers that you get is phenomenal. Some of them are professional people, had great jobs, families, and they had a bump in the road. May have lost their job. They were part of this housing bubble, lost their home, can't get an apartment, might have a part-time job. I was talking to one guy, he said he had been on the streets for about 5 months, and all he had to his name at that point was he had to get rid of all of his furniture and stuff because he couldn't, really afford to put it in storage. So he sold off what he could, and that's what he was living off of, and he had a tent living on the streets in L.A. I said, well, man, what did you do before? So he worked for a major company. He had a good job, middle management, and then went through a downsize. He lost his gig. He was married, 2 kids. Kids were older teenagers, he said. So they're out on their own. Marriage broke up. And he seemed like a nice guy. He was likable. He had, we had a good conversation. But he's living on tough times. He had nowhere else to go. No other family. I said, you have family somewhere else that you could go live with? He says, no. He had a brother and a sister, and they're both dead. And he might have been in his late 50s. So, why is this guy a bad person? He's a victim. He's not a criminal. Didn't have a criminal record. So, why can't we help people who have fallen on tough times living on the streets in Los Angeles, California, or whether it's Mobile, Alabama, or Jiblipi, Mississippi? It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. There are people out there that need a little helping hand, a little boost. And they get caught up in this whole thing. There are people who have had vouchers for a year and can't get an apartment because supply and demand kicks in. Because of the housing situation, a lot of people lost their homes. They're now renters. So supply and demand, the price of these apartments and single-family homes that are up for rent, the prices have gone up. Many of them have gone beyond the price that the voucher will cover, so that it automatically eliminates you. So why would they rent to you for $1,500 a month when they can get $2,500? So they'll say, too bad, so sad. I can't do anything to help you. So that's, in a nutshell, that's the sad story. One example, and I'm not suggesting that that applies to everyone or every situation out there, but that's the way a lot of people, or that's how they are right now. They're in a messed up situation. And some may never get out of it. The cost of living here in Los Angeles is ridiculous. It's crazy high. The kind of housing that you see that, especially in the Midwest or down south or back east, when you compare 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage on a tight lot, in most places that place would be under $200,000, maybe a little bit more, and might need some repair, some updating. The kitchen might be from 1970, 75. So you're going to have to go in and do something to it, right? So, but that house here in L.A. could be closer to $1 million. And if they've done a little updating to it, it could be $1.2 million, $1.3 million, $1.4 million, $1.6 million, same house. In areas like Compton and some of the other areas that have been viewed as less desirable, the pricing over there is going crazy. $500,000 house, same house that I just described. So I don't know how you make that work. It's a tough one. How do you make that work? And look at the income that you need to make. A family is making $50,000, $60,000 a year. They probably can't qualify for a loan like that, $500,000 loan. At 5 o'clock today, Jesse T., who's a realtor and mortgage broker, I believe, I'm going to ask him about that. He's talked a little bit about it a few shows ago. But I think it's a topic that could be explored again and again and again. Because there are a lot of people out there, faced with the same situation. So we got to get the information out to help people. I have another friend that has been helping people get into apartments and what have you. And many times it can only get them into like a hotel or motel room. And even there, they're jacking people around because the way they let you in, they can change and I don't know the exact terminology, but let's say you go to one of these motels, temporary living kind of place, and in 30 days, they can lock you out and make you sign up again and charge you additional fees and hold your stuff in the room hostage. It's just horrible. Some of these management and landlords, what they're doing to people. So now you got to pay more money to get into the room that you've been using for 30 days. And those kind of things ought to be illegal. And I think it is, but the people who become the victims of this act are afraid to complain because then they'll be back on the streets again. And this is America I'm talking about. I'm not talking about in Afghanistan or, some third world country. I'm talking about right here in Los Angeles. This is going on. And we should be ashamed as Americans that this is going on in our country. So we're about to elect a new president of this country. My hope is this message can get to the people that, whether it's Donald Trump or Bernie or Hillary, you need to listen to the people on the streets. I want to see a president go out and talk to some homeless people or a candidate. Go talk to the homeless people. Find out what they're going through. And then let's figure out how to fix that situation, because these are human beings just like you and I. And that needs to change. It needs to change now. I'm going to take a quick break, come back on the other side. If you'd like to join the conversation, I have no problems with that. 424-227-9461. Be right back.
Take a ride with us. You never know what you might learn on thepowerofvoices.com.
Hey, it's Josefa Salinas, and it's time to talk summer camps. I got my buddy Greg Bell here with me because I can't think of anybody I'd rather partner with to do summer camps for kids than Greg Bell and his incredible programs. Greg, let's tell them all about the programs.
Yes, starting June 26th and going through June 29th, be the 11th annual Athletes for Life Summer Life Skill Program for youth of the Inland Empire. This is the 11th year we've been doing this program, helping over 300 youth, both men and women, on the campus of Cal State University, San Bernardino. And I tell you what, you're getting over 14 hours of ELA and 14 hours of structured physical activity.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun. We've got How to Be a Girl Camp for the girls, 7th to 12th graders. You're going to want to put your kids in these camps. Where can they go find out how to register for this free camp?
At athletesforlife.org.
Athletesforlife.org. Make sure your kids get to this free camp this summer.
If you're a single man under the age of 35, you'd probably like to know what the ladies are looking for on an online dating site. A guy who had a few drinks and later got pulled over for buzzed driving. See, that could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And doesn't a guy who's back living with his parents but calls them my roommates just scream Mr. Right?
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I was sensitive to lights and sounds, so I'd build secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over, until one day I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
I want to thank my mommy for loving me so much,
for taking me to the doctor when I broke my foot,
for leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone.
And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear mom, for taking you to your therapies, for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing. That's why AARP gives you the information to provide even better care for your loved one. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Who says you can't have fun and learn at the same time? Thepowerofvoices.com.
There's a good one. Cheryl Lynn, Got to Be Real. No faking. Got to be real. We got somebody on the phone. Welcome to the show. Hello. I guess he hung up. Oh, well. Call back. That was Cheryl Lynn and Got to Be Real. Can't fake it. It's got to be real. What a great song. It was back in the disco days. And everybody was out on the dance floor jumping on that one, right? Remember that? You don't know nothing about that. Cheryl Lynn. I met her a couple times. She was a real nice person, too. Real nice. Interviewed her a couple of times on the radio. You know, in my career here in the business, I met a lot of wonderful people. A lot of down-to-earth people, when it comes to recording artists and what have you. Most of them are pretty cool. There's some knuckleheads that come along, egotistical maniacs, but, for the most part, they've been pretty good people. So I'm going to talk about them a little bit. Welcome to the show.
Talk about who a little bit?
Well, I might talk about you.
Well, I didn't hear you because I was calling you.
No, I was speaking about the fact that I've met a lot of interesting people. I played Cheryl Lynn coming out of the break.
I know. I heard that.
Yeah.
Wait, can I tell you the story?
Go ahead.
Well, me and Cheryl Lynn we had a little tete-a-tete in a nice hotel in St. Louis.
No, stop it. Don't tell
look,
stories like that.
Lee,
what?
You know I'm not lying.
I believe
you know I'm not lying. You know I'm not lying.
But she don't, maybe she don't want a business out there like that.
Okay, so I did wrong. I'm sorry.
You're terrible.
I'm sorry.
Barry is a radio guy too. He's an old friend of mine. Met this rascal in St. Louis, and he's a rascal. I'll put it that way. Okay.
Well, anyway, Cheryl Lynn.
So you had a fling with Cheryl Lynn, is what you're saying?
Well, no. I'm saying I had a friendship with her.
Okay, that's better.
That's all.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all.
So what are you doing today? What's going on with you?
Well, I'm at the park. My dog likes grass, and so do I.
Mm-hmm.
And but we like different kind of grass.
Y'all smoke it together, or what? What are you saying?
No. He smokes whenever I get it, but I don't know anybody here, so I ain't got none.
Oh, okay.
So I don't roll that way.
All right, well,
I'm
good.
A professional.
Stay clean.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about all of that, but
I said he's a rascal.
Huh?
I said he's a rascal.
Yeah. Who?
You.
My dog or me?
You, both of you, probably.
Well,
I don't know the dog.
I reflect you.
No,
That's
don't put
why
me
I
in
have
it.
to kill myself properly.
No. I'm not going to take the blame for that. You're funny.
I heard that. But anyway, you guys were talking about the homeless in L.A., man. Let me give you a little scenario, about being homeless, man. That ain't no joke.
Not at all.
I was at Stater Brothers yesterday, and I saw on the I think it was Star Magazine at the checkout stand, Steve Harvey from homeless, living in the car, for 3 years.
Yep.
And to $100 million.
Yep.
And I'm like, shit. Pardon me. I've been there. And my example is living in the Bay Area. And I worked at one radio station, KDIA, for over 17 years, and went through like 4 different ownerships.
Wow.
And but the point is, when I retired, that was cool. So since I love broadcasting, I didn't know what to do, so I tried several different things, had several different companies or whatever. But the bottom line is, in the end, I ended up marrying Sandra, and I'm telling you all of my personal business. That's okay, and it's being recorded, and I understand. You hear me?
Yep.
And I ain't got nothing to hide, not nothing.
Okay.
I feel good. I feel good about that.
That's cool.
I used to hide everything, but I don't anymore. Anyway, to get back to the story. So we were in San Francisco, and my wife is a nurse, so she was taking care of this lady that she had grown up with.
Mm-hmm.
And so she passed in the house we were living in, because what happened is Sandra, my wife, was taking care of her, as a nurse. And we lived downstairs. She lived upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she passed, of course, the daughter interceded after she passed. And we knew, hey, it was getting ready to be trouble now. Anyway, to make a long story short, so the daughter got a new vet and a Hummer for her husband after she passed.
Yeah.
And we knew, next thing we knew, she was selling a house. So that means we got to leave
Mm.
because we didn't own a house.
Right.
You know, we were just there taking care of her mom. You hear me?
Right.
Yeah. So, all right, we leave. They pay us because we demanded that, you know. And so I was on the road and basically homeless for about 8 months.
Wow.
We lived in Marin County in a motel room. And, you know, since I'm self-employed, I was able to take care of that. But my point is, I know what it is to be homeless.
Yeah.
That's my point. That's
Yeah.
my point, you know.
Yeah, it's not good, man. And in this day and time, and that's why, you know, I talk about it often because it's near and dear to my heart because I just don't understand
Well,
how
that's
it
what I'm
happens.
about to say. I don't understand how this can happen in America.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially for somebody that doesn't want to be homeless.
Right.
Some homeless people don't mind. I ain't one of them.
No.
I ain't one of them, you know. I had to deal with that, you know. And I dealt with it, thanks to God, effectively for 8 months.
Yeah.
You know, $70 a month. I mean, a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
That
a
adds
day.
up. Yeah.
A day.
Yeah.
A day. You hear me?
Yeah. That's not cheap.
Yeah. A day.
But you know, the cost of living here in California, especially, well, I think it's pretty much the same up in the Bay Area as well. The housing cost here is nuts.
Well, it's even nutser in the Bay Area.
Oh, I can't
That's
imagine.
why I moved to Riverside County.
Yeah.
With my wife's daughter. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's
And looking for property down here, and you know I can afford this. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I can afford this. But up in the Bay Area,
Well, you're in Riverside, so
median-
that's not right in L.A., but
no, Riverside County. I'm
County.
in Moreno Valley.
yeah.
Riverside County. Go
So
ahead.
a little less out there, but it's still expensive by comparison to other places in the country.
Well, yeah, but I'm not concerned about that. I'm only concerned about what I'm dealing with.
Right.
But I hear you.
Would
and
you
I'm not going back. Look, I wouldn't dare go back east because it's
No,
scary.
why?
It's scary.
Why?
It's scary.
Scary in what
Scary.
respect?
Well, it's just scary. It's violent, you know, and people are scrapping, you know. And,
Well, in some
you know,
parts.
in California, you can live good. If you don't even do nothing, you can live good. if you got a brain.
Yeah. But you could
But,
but you know, the cost of living in some of the places, especially in the South, it's a lot less.
Well, I tell you what, you go
opportunities are also less.
and I'll come visit you. Well, that's my point. That's exactly my point. You know, so you sing it to the choir.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no. So no, we ain't having no back east stuff.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. I've
You
lived
go back
in all.
to St. Louis. Go ahead.
I've lived in all funky four corners, and you know, so
Exactly.
I know what you're talking about.
So you know.
Yeah.
So you know.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
Yeah. You don't have to test it. You've already tested it.
Yeah, several times over decades. Yeah.
You know what?
It doesn't
I wanted
get any
to ask
better.
You, now you're not there now, so I can ask you. Where did you live in Chicago? 'Cause
Well,
you were making a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Where did you live in Chicago? You can tell me now because you're not there. All
Well,
right?
I
So
lived
tell
in-
me now. Tell everybody.
I lived in several places, primarily in the suburbs. I didn't live in downtown
That's
or
what I figured.
in Chicago, but one time, and that was the last time I was there in 2013, 2014, I lived in the city. And I'll never do that again. And I was on the south side, and it was supposed to have been in a decent neighborhood. Right, I could walk to the art museum, and you know, it was a decent area. But just blocks away, people were getting shot, and you know, I made friends with the people that was in an apartment complex. I made friends with the young boys hanging out in the parking lot because I wanted them to
That's
know.
what I do.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
You're
So
a professional communicator. I hear you.
Exactly. So I made sure they knew who I was, and I wanted to know who they were, and you know, and I would say hello to them when I come in, and y'all be good, you know, that kind of thing. But when I lived there during the 80s, I lived in an area called Bolingbrook.
Okay.
I lived in what was the other?
Bolingbrook, that's upper class, is that
Well, it's
correct?
a middle class. It wasn't a real upper class. Oak Brook would have
Well,
been a
you
little.
could have afforded more than that.
Well, yeah.
I know how much money you made.
Yeah, I lived in Hinsdale for a minute, and also lived in, which is a much more expensive area than Bolingbrook. Bolingbrook is
I was
now.
just thinking about that the other night. I said, I need to ask Lee, where did he live in Chicago? Because I never asked you, but I knew you were rich. I knew that.
I made a few dollars.
You made a whole bunch of dollars.
I also lived in a suburb called Crete, Illinois. Yep. And that was in the south suburbs. The other two places were kind of west. And there was another place called Darien. Okay. So I lived around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why did you move around, making all of that money?
Well, you want something different, and
okay. So you were kind of like growing.
Family was
within
growing.
The area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought I'd ask you.
Yeah.
I know there's some personal information there.
No, it's
I know
no
you
big
don't
deal.
mind sharing because it's that's something that you have done. It's done. It's in the history books. You hear me?
Yeah.
So that ain't gonna change.
Yeah, but if you had asked me when I was living there, I would not have been afraid to say where the area I lived in.
Yeah, me, but
even on the radio.
That.
I did.
Okay.
When I was living in Bolingbrook, I was doing the morning show at WBMX, and I would refer to the area quite frequently because it was
okay.
In Bolingbrook and another area, Woodridge, which was right next door to Bolingbrook. Woodridge was kind of like Radio City because 3 or 4 of the people that I worked with at the radio station, we all lived in the same apartment complex when I went there in late '79.
Okay.
And let's see, it was Barry Mayo, Carl Carner.
Okay. Carl Carner was there.
Yeah, Carl was there. A couple of salespeople that worked at the station. Lynn Tolliver, myself, Marco Spoon.
You're kidding.
All of us lived in the same complex, so we called it Radio City, and a couple of record people. Gus Redmond lived out there.
Wait, look. And all of y'all were making good money.
Yeah, we're doing okay. We're doing okay.
Now, you're being modest.
Now,
y'all are making good money.
Well, it depends on what you call good money, but we were doing okay.
Well, I call 6 figures good money. That's what I call
we were doing
money.
We were doing okay.
Yeah, all of y'all are making 6 figures. Hello? Is
most
this thing
of us,
on?
yeah.
I'm here every night.
So yeah, that was an experience. That was when I first moved there in late '79.
You got history, Lee.
Yeah, I got some history.
Shit, I hate to tell you you're old, but that's okay. That's
No,
a good
it's okay.
thing. You know what? You got a lot of wisdom now. Well, you had it then.
Yeah.
You had it then, because I'm not the only one that you've mentored,
No, that's true.
And I know that. But sometimes I want it to be exclusive. You took care of Barry Pope. I'll never forget in your mansion in Marin County. You invited me over, and what is it, about 5,000 square feet?
What was it? 6,800.
You've been so rich.
6,800, I think it was.
60. Well, whatever. It is a beautiful,
it was a nice
mansion.
place.
Brand new mansion.
Yeah, it was a nice place. I don't know. Why you call it a mansion? I wouldn't say it was a mansion.
It was a mansion.
I don't know
what do you call 6,000 square feet?
I don't know. It's just
I call it a mansion.
It was a big house, but
Yes. Wait a minute, and brand new.
Yeah, it was brand new. You're right. Brand new construction.
I know.
Yep. But what depicts a like some people say, well, he's got a yacht. But what depicts or what size is the boat for it to become a yacht, and what size of a house is it to become a mansion? I don't know.
I don't know about yachts because they eat up your money.
Yeah, they do.
Rich or poor.
Yeah, I've been there too.
Because, I know you have.
Yeah, I poured a lot of money into the ocean.
But a 6,000 square feet house is got to be a mansion.
Take it easy.
A mansion.
Yeah, it was a good house. I enjoyed that.
You said, Barry,
Mm-hmm.
you want to do mornings in L.A.? And I was working at that time. KDIA had been sold, and I was working part-time at KSOL, R&B station in the Bay Area. And so I said, yeah. You said, well, come on, let's go. We got in your big old Mercedes-Benz, big old long Benz, and we drove down Highway 5.
Sure did.
And wait a minute. I had two Benzes in the garage, and I asked them for a Benz, convertible Benz, while I was working, because I was only going to do it temporarily because basically the station had wanted. Well, you wanted to hire Doug Banks, nationally syndicated, one of our friends.
Really, I don't remember that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you don't remember that?
No.
Well, I do. I'll never forget it. Anyway, so you hired me to do temporary, 90 days, and that's what I did. So I would do morning drive at KKBT 92.3 at the Beat.
Right.
Monday through Friday, and then Friday evening.
You were the first morning guy when they went from rocking with the Beat.
Right,
to
when
the
they
Beat.
changed the format.
Right.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
I was the first guy thanks to you.
Well,
I didn't even know about it.
thanks to Liz Kiley, who brought me
Where's
in as
Liz?
she's down in Nashville.
Okay, I thought she went to Texas.
She may have for a minute, but she's in Nashville. Has been there for a long time. She's married and got 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 kids now.
Yeah. Well, can
8
you
or
ask
9,
her
I'm
to call
not
me?
sure.
Because I remember her because I
Yeah.
would say, Liz, I need some money.
She's a good person.
Liz would go to the accounting office and bring me back cash.
She had the juice. Liz is a great person. I met her when she was like 17 or 18 years old in New York when I was working at 99X.
Oh, okay.
And she
Ain't
used to.
ain't that interesting?
Yep. She used
You
to
met
come.
her, and she got you that project,
Right.
and then you got me that project.
Right.
Ain't that interesting?
It's about,
Ain't that interesting?
relationships.
That's why I tell people good follows good, bad follows bad. If
No
you do
question.
good things in life, you'll be followed by good things.
Right.
If you do bad things in
Right.
life, that's what you're going to receive. If I kill
That's
somebody
true.
today, one day I'm going to pay for it.
That's right.
Period.
That's
Period.
right.
Period. Period.
Yeah, Liz
It multiplies.
she wasn't even in the business. She was, interested in radio, and she used to come by the station, and I showed her around, and she would come up and sit and watch me do my show, and she
Yeah.
met the engineers and all that, and then I would walk her back to the train station because she lived up in Connecticut. Put her on the train
right?
and call her mom and say she's on her way home.
You never told me that.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
yeah. That's
Well,
where we met.
What I know is she took good care of me. I had a nice apartment in Toluca Lake across the highway from the radio station. I pull up at the radio station and hit a button, the gate would open.
Oh yeah, I remember
I
that.
said, I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah, it used to be
Everybody respected me.
the station was in a it used to be a house, and they converted it to what it was at that time. And there was some other history
know
about it. Was some other history about that. I think it used to be a restaurant at one time, and some famous rock and roll person left that bar and drove off a cliff. I'm trying to remember who that was. And killed himself that night from drinking.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, a little tidbit.
Right. Well, you got a lot of them. See, that's what I just told you. You have wisdom
Yep, I've been around.
and experience, life experience. And you know what? We can't deny that,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. But
So
yeah, man, those were good times, man. Shit. Excuse me. Those were good times. Shit, I would get off the air, and you know where I go? I go
Where?
on, I think it was Hollywood Boulevard. Get me a pint of gizzards and half a pint of vodka, and then I go back home.
Gizzard? Did you say gizzards?
Yes, gizzards.
Chicken gizzards?
From Pioneer Chicken.
Really?
Pioneer Chicken. Yeah, Pioneer Chicken. I got some gizzards. They were soft and, man,
Oh, boy.
excellent. I do that every day.
Barry,
Every
you're a
day.
trip.
No, I'm just real.
Got to be
I'm
real.
just real. I just got to be real.
All right. Well, listen, I got to get out of here. I got to make way for the next show coming
All right,
up.
man. I'm sorry for holding you hostage.
No. It's all good. I mean, I'm in time. I'm never going to be late. Going to be
Yeah,
always on
that's
time.
right. That's right. Listen, yesterday, what happened was it yesterday or today? Because I tuned in YouTube and there was some noise.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
I saw you.
Yep.
Okay. Whose fault was that?
What happened was the computer that we're streaming to YouTube on had something in the browser running in the background, and I wasn't aware of that.
It was some noise.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
So how did you find out?
At the end of the show, when I played the video back, I heard all that crap in there. And so, but what I did was I deleted the video and put the audio track up there because I recorded in two different places. I recorded the video and then a separate audio track. So yesterday's show is up on Facebook, and you can listen to that without the noise, but you can't see us. That's the only difference.
Well, what about YouTube?
No, it's not on YouTube, but it's on SoundCloud.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So check it out. It's from yesterday. And today's show will be up as well.
Okay. Will that be on YouTube?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Well,
it's on there right now.
All right. I need the fan base.
All right. Take care. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. That's Barry Pope, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., we'll be back again. And tomorrow's Friday. What happened? Oh, that's right. It was a 4-day week because we were off on Monday. Back again at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning right here on the Power of Voices, The Lee Michaels Show. See you then.
You'll find it right here on thepowerofvoices.com.
I'm Nancy Renee.
And I'm Adrienne Shapiro.
We're the founders of Access Advocacy, a nonprofit for the benefit of people